So it's not a secret that Havencraft is not in a particularly good spot in Take 2. The top of the meta at the moment is Swordcraft and Portalcraft, and then Abysscraft and Dragoncraft follow that if you get a good core of cards. And then at the very bottom of the barrel we have Havencraft, Forestcraft and Runecraft, as they just require too many necessary specific cards to carry out the game plan. But if there's one thing about me, I'm a stubborn little bastard, and I've been continuing to attempt with Havencraft just because I love the class and I want to do well with it in Take 2. Is that too much to ask for? But in this instance, it worked out big time, and I've got 2 crazy games from one of my most successful runs yet as Havencraft in Take 2. And this is the first of which versus Runecraft. And unfortunately, I don't get any crazy Darkhaven Grace menu plays off this time, but I still do alright. Yeah, nothing too much crazy going on early on, both just building our boards, trading, etc, etc. The overall game plan for this deck is to make it to late game, as it's quite a control-based deck. There's lots of wards, lots of board removal. You can see in my hand there, I've got Jean. I've also got the 7 mana that drops an amulet on death in combination with the Unholy Vessel. That is just a nutty combo, and my favourite big bird man, the Sacred Griffin, can just come in at the end and really fuck people up. It's beautiful. But yeah, with all these Earthrise shenanigans and golems and shit, he's really starting to overpower me a little bit on the board. Like, it's definitely skewing a bit in his direction. He's got some big dudes there, but never fear, for one of the absolute saving graces of this deck is here. The Ironfist Priest is just an absolute menace. Like, you're gonna see some crazy shenanigans go down with this card. He does some nutty shit in both games. He is my goat. But yeah, he does bounce back a bit with the inevitable Anangria. How can I not even escape this card in Take 2? Like, what is wrong with Runecraft players and playing the Anangria on turn 5? I want to choke this man. But no asphyxiation necessary in the end, for I do have the Unholy Vessel, and that is going to pop down and clean his board out in a lovely fashion. So yeah, back to an empty board. However, of course, he does have the advantage because it is his turn, but he spends his turn just putting a few little dweebs on the board, really. Like, I ain't scared of none of that shit. That ain't gonna faze me. And I don't know what it is about Featherfall, but it really does just feel like one of the most satisfying board clears in the game. Like, when everything's below 3 HP and you just clean their board and then just get to hit him in the face with a little pigeony, falcony man. It's beautiful. Even better if you get lethal with said little pigeony, falcony man. I have no idea why I'm calling him a pigeon. He doesn't look like a pigeon. But anyhow, our opponent takes umbrage to this and drops another Super Evolve, and another Golem pops up. Where the fuck does he get these dudes from? I'm sick of free freeze with wards. And so I drop my 6/6 with ward and clear his board again, which he must be getting pretty frustrated at this by this point, I would assume. There's nothing worse than when your board just gets consistently slapped backwards and forwards. First thought there was to say his board's like a rotisserie chicken, and I'm not sure why. I don't know if that's a good analogy. But alas, he decides to stop fucking around and brings in Big Dick Kuon to join the fray, and it's also not lost on me that he's played Anangria and Kuon pretty much on the turns they're meant to be played, by the way. But his silly little constructed level plays won't help him here, as I use my amulet to knock Kuon below the threshold for Ironfist Cleric, who comes down and banishes his entire board to the Netherrealm. See you later, sayonara. Just as a quick side note, by the way, I did misplay. I should have used the amulet on the ward so that I didn't activate its last words effect, but, you know, forgive me for that one. But sadly, I fear it's not all over yet, as this bastard has some more tricks up his sleeve, and one is a 10 Runeblade Conductor. Please just let me have this one, I beg you. By doing this, he ultimately forces me to use my ambush unit and destroy both units with a trade, because I'm on low health. I don't want to risk leaving anything on the board at this point. And I am looking at my hand, and I can see the avian statue and the griffin, and I know if I can get the avian statue down and then I can activate it on the same turn I play the griffin, I can get enough damage to kill him. So that is my game plan. That is what I'm trying to work out how to accomplish at this point. But my man refuses to take a fucking day off. He thinks he's playing constructed still, and he just vomits his hand. What is happening here? How have you got this board? So I can't do shit about that. I just have to play my ward, and I know there's going to be a vessel that comes from it, and hope that he can't kill me. It's so far so good. I managed to survive on a paltry amount of health, but if I can just survive one more turn, I might be able to get my combo off. I heal a little bit, I draw a little bit, and I get down the avian. It's going to be a crucial part of my win condition here. And he is, in fact, unable to finish the job, which means, yes, I get my glorious combo play. I throw down my Sacred Griffin, I activate the avian statue, and that is going to be 10 damage to his face for lethal. In a bit, buddy. Even in Take 2, I enjoy ruining the hopes and dreams of a Runecraft player, even though it's a bad class in Take 2. Fuck him. But anyhow, we're not done yet. It is on to the next one, and this time we are facing a much stronger class. Yes, it is Abysscraft. But don't worry, I will not show them any mercy, and I've got some nasty surprises in store for our friend here as well. And what I love to see from the starting hand is my favourite card, Darkhaven Grace. I just love having that card early. It's just so nice. I love buffing my units. I love getting the little 1 HP heal, especially when you're playing with a more control-minded deck. It's just so nice to be able to sustain yourself like that without a card. It's just great. And so I get that down straight away, as I'm also a big fan of the turn 3 Bellringer Angel and buff play, which gives it 1 damage. Obviously, it has 0 damage usually, so it just lets it do something on the board rather than just stop damage. That can be especially nice against Abyss because they often have 1/1 minions or minions with 1 health, so it can trade quite well. We can see that here as it does manage to kill one of the bats he brings down. And this is a super aggressive start from him, by the way. Like, really, really scary to be facing this much aggression early against Abysscraft. Luckily, I do feel pretty prepared to deal with him. I've got 2 Ironfist priests there. I've got heals. I've got wards. Like, we're going to do it. We're going to manage. But the best I can do this turn is play Reno, which isn't as bad as it might look, because it's really hard for him to remove it without taking damage. Every time you hit Reno, he deals 1 damage to the opponent, and as you can see, he has to hit me a few times here. It feels to me like Reno forced him into a really awkward evolve trade with the 2/2 as well, so I was pretty happy with that. This board still does look pretty scary, but luckily for me, it's my evolve turn, and we have the GOAT, the Ironfist priest, here to clean up. Now, unfortunately, as it's just a regular evolve and not a super evolve, he can't fully clean up the board, but he still does a pretty good job, and I top him off with a +1 there as a thank you for his excellent service. But unfortunately, our opponent has one of the most annoying board clears in the game ready, and he plays Aragavi and evolves in for even more damage to my precious little face. Like, do you mind, mate? I'm just trying to sit here and enjoying myself with my silly little wards and my heals, and you're trying to fucking inflict grievous bodily harm on me. Leave me alone. Now, sadly, as I don't have a great way to deal with that board, I choose to go for the Soul Cure Sister to heal myself up a little bit and evolve it to trade into Aragavi, and hopefully that stems the bleeding a little bit there. Now, as soon as I saw my opponent make this next play, I knew my opportunity had arisen. He drops the 6 mana with the last word units, and I'm thinking, let me introduce you to a friend of mine. And our best bud comes down and unleashes absolute carnage with the dirtiest banish you have seen in your life. Look at it. Bang. The dirt is gone. See ya. Now, he does try and salvage the situation here by playing Sharon and using the super evolve so that every turn he's going to get a 3 mana minion reanimated. But I smell blood in the water at this point. I have the advantage, and I do not intend to let it go so easily. And so, similar to the last game, I drop an Unholy Vessel to clean the board up, and knowing that I have Maeve in my hand, so that if he destroys the sword, if I get the opportunity to play it in the future, I'll have another Unholy Vessel ready to go. And his chosen answer to this is to destroy his menu with the Ghost Artifact, and then just flood the board again. Get another massive board flood down. And I'm a little bit scared at this point, because I'm aware that we are in Cerberus territory. He's got a Super Evolve left. If he has a board, and he uses Cerberus, I could be in massive trouble. So I'm like, you know what, mate? I ain't having that. Now is the time to yawn. And I throw that down, and I do choose to Super Evolver to get rid of one of the minions, because again, I don't want him to have 2 live minions on the board that he can buff the damage off, because that could end up being the death of me. I do think it's so annoying that I actually have to play around Cerberus in the first place when it's take 2, and they likely only have 1 copy, if any, in their deck. But I've been killed so many times in take 2 by Cerberus around turn 8, so I just assume they have Cerberus, and then if they don't, they don't. But yeah, luckily he didn't have Cerberus here, although he still manages to put me in a really nasty position using the Reaper's Death Wish to clear my ward. And so I once again utilize the same tactic as last game, and I pull out Maeve and get her down and hope that that vessel that pops up afterwards is going to clear the board and that he can't somehow kill me this turn. And he just throws caution to the wind at this point. He just says, fuck it, I want to kill this guy right now. And he uses his last Super Evolve to get me as low as possible. He takes down the ward and hits me with everything, leaving me with only 3 HP. I have not given up hope, for I can see he's running incredibly low on resources. He has no cards, and I have a giant ward here that can also hit him in his stupid little face. And we're also seeing the benefit of Darkhaven Grace here, because I'm so low on health that the 2 extra health points I regenerate here are absolutely crucial. And we can see that when he drops his big bastard legend and destroys my ward and hits me for 4. If I hadn't healed with Darkhaven Grace, I would be fucked. Now, I had to get a little lucky for this next play, I'm not going to lie, but it works out as Agnes comes down, destroys one of the zombies, and it lands the 50-50, destroying the legend, which was crucial. As he sees my luck and tenacity and determination and my 4-3 barrier ward, and he says, nope, I am out of here, and he concedes, giving me the game. I am the champion. All hail me. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed watching me take this underpowered class in take 2 and manage to mount 2 glorious comebacks against Runecraft and Abysscraft. We will be going back to standard for our next few videos, as I've got some nice surprises for you there, but I hope you've enjoyed, guys. Please consider subscribing to the channel if you haven't already. We're still growing, and I'm really enjoying the process of reaching more and more of you lovely Shadowverse players. But yeah, that's all from me today. Hope you all have a lovely time. Good night, and God bless.